Hollywood's golden age hid a powerful secret: many of its biggest stars were Jewish. Behind the glamour, the studio polish, and carefully crafted public images, these women navigated fame in an era when antisemitism was real and visibility was risky. Their names lit up marquees, their faces defined beauty, and their talent shaped cinema history. Yet much of who they were was downplayed, changed, or erased. These actresses didn't just survive Hollywood, they helped build it. Hedy Lamarr was once called the most beautiful woman in the world, but that label barely scratches the surface of who she really was. Born in Vienna to a Jewish family, Lamarr fled Nazi-controlled Europe as her fame rose, and as her safety disappeared. In Hollywood's golden age, studios sold her as pure glamour, carefully hiding her Jewish identity and intellectual brilliance. What audiences didn't see was a woman who helped pioneer technology that would later become the foundation for Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, and GPS. While the cameras focused on her face, history ignored her mind. In an era of anti-Semitism, censorship, and rigid studio control, Hedy Lamarr reinvented herself to survive, and quietly changed the world. Her story isn't just about beauty or stardom, it's about resilience, identity, and a legacy Hollywood never fully told. Lauren Bacall entered Hollywood as a symbol of cool confidence, low voice, sharp wit, effortless glamour. But behind the screen persona was Betty Joan Persky, a young woman raised by a Jewish mother in New York, shaped by Jewish identity long before fame found her. In Hollywood's golden age, studios carefully crafted stars, often downplaying or erasing anything considered too ethnic. Bacall never fully hid who she was, but her Jewish roots were rarely part of the story audiences were told. Instead, she became a new kind of leading lady, intelligent, independent, and unapologetically strong. At a time when anti-Semitism lingered both on and off screen, Bacall's success quietly challenged Hollywood's narrow definitions of beauty and belonging. Her legacy isn't just about iconic films or unforgettable chemistry, it's about a woman who carried her identity forward in an industry that preferred silence. Shelley Winters was never Hollywood's idea of a safe star, and that's exactly what made her unforgettable. Born Shirley Scrift in the Bronx to Jewish parents, Winters grew up tough, outspoken, and deeply aware of who she was. In the golden age, when studios tried to polish away anything considered too ethnic or unruly, she refused to be softened. Instead, she built a career on raw, emotionally fearless performances. From A Place in the Sun to her haunting role in The Diary of Anne Frank, Winters brought humanity, vulnerability, and moral weight to the screen. Her Jewish identity wasn't a marketing tool, it was part of her emotional truth as an actress. She spoke openly about anti-Semitism, politics, and injustice when many stars stayed silent. Shelley Winters didn't fit Hollywood's mold, and she didn't try to. She proved that authenticity, not perfection, is what lasts. Sylvia Sidney was one of the most respected dramatic actresses of the 1930s, yet her story is rarely told today. Born Sophia Koso in the Bronx to Jewish immigrant parents, she grew up surrounded by Yiddish theater and a strong sense of social awareness. That background shaped the roles she chose, often portraying working-class women, outsiders, and characters struggling against injustice. In films like Fury, Dead End, and You Only Live Once, Sidney became the face of socially conscious cinema during the Great Depression. At a time when Hollywood preferred escapism, she brought realism and empathy to the screen. Though studios downplayed her Jewish identity, it informed her sensitivity and depth as an actress. Sylvia Sidney didn't rely on glamour alone, she relied on truth. Decades later, her work in film noir and her resurgence in later films proved her talent was timeless, even if Hollywood briefly forgot her name. Marilyn Monroe is remembered as Hollywood's ultimate blonde bombshell, but few people know about her deeply personal connection to Judaism. In 1956, at the height of her fame, Monroe converted to Judaism when she married playwright Arthur Miller. It wasn't a publicity stunt or a studio move, it was a quiet, deliberate choice. She studied with a rabbi, embraced Jewish traditions, and even kept a kosher home for a time. In an era when Jewish identity was often hidden or minimized in Hollywood, Monroe's conversion was meaningful and sincere. She once said she wanted to belong to Miller's world completely, spiritually as well as emotionally. Despite being marketed as a symbol rather than a person, Marilyn searched for identity, belonging, and purpose throughout her life. Her conversion reflects a lesser-known side of her story, not glamour, but vulnerability, curiosity, and a desire to be understood beyond the image Hollywood created. Zsa Zsa Gabor embodied old Hollywood glamour, luxurious accents, dazzling jewels, and unapologetic confidence. Born Shelley Gabor in Budapest to a Jewish family, she grew up in a cultured, ambitious household that encouraged beauty, charm, and social ambition. As antisemitism rose in Europe, Zsa Zsa and her family left Hungary, eventually making their way to Hollywood. There, studios transformed her into an international socialite and screen siren, carefully separating her image from her Jewish origins. While she later converted to Catholicism, her Jewish roots were an undeniable part of her early life and survival story. Zsa Zsa understood Hollywood as a performance long before she stepped onto a soundstage, and she mastered it. Though often dismissed as famous for being famous, she was a savvy self-creator who navigated exile, reinvention, and fame with wit and resilience. Her legacy is not just glamour, but the art of reinvention in a world that demanded it. Eva Gabor brought elegance, humor, and warmth to Hollywood, becoming best known as the charming star of Green Acres. Born Eva Gabor in Budapest to a Jewish family, she grew up alongside her sisters Zsa Zsa and Magda in a world shaped by culture, ambition, and rising European antisemitism. Like her sisters, Eva left Hungary as conditions worsened, eventually finding safety and opportunity in the United States. Hollywood cast her as refined, witty, and effortlessly glamorous, but rarely acknowledged the immigrant and Jewish story behind that image. Unlike many Golden Age actresses, Eva embraced comedy, using intelligence and timing rather than dramatic intensity to stand out. Her accent became part of her appeal, even as it masked the realities of exile and reinvention. Eva Gabor's success represents a quieter triumph, a woman who transformed displacement into delight, and whose Jewish roots were part of the resilience that carried her through a long, beloved career. Magda Gabor, the eldest of the famous Gabor sisters, was a glamorous figure whose life reflected both Hollywood allure and European upheaval. Born in Budapest to a Jewish family, Magda grew up surrounded by culture, sophistication, and ambition, all of which shaped her future as a socialite and actress. As antisemitism intensified in Europe, she left Hungary and eventually made her way to the United States, navigating exile and reinvention along the way. In Hollywood, she never reached the cinematic fame of her sisters Zsa Zsa or Eva, but she carved her own niche through charm, high society connections, and media attention. Studios and the public admired her style and wit, yet her Jewish heritage and immigrant experience were largely hidden, as was common in that era. Magda's life reminds us that behind the glitz of Golden Age glamour were women whose identities, struggles, and resilience shaped their very survival in a challenging world. Molly Picon was a pioneering figure whose influence bridged the worlds of Yiddish theater and Hollywood. Born in 1898 in Philadelphia to Jewish immigrant parents, she began performing as a child and quickly became a star of the Yiddish stage. Her talent, charisma, and comedic timing made her beloved in Jewish communities across the United States and Europe. Picon's performances often celebrated Jewish culture, language, and humor at a time when assimilation pressures were high. In the 1930s and 1940s, she transitioned to film, appearing in both Yiddish-language movies and later in Hollywood productions, bringing her unique presence to a wider audience. Despite working in an industry that often minimized ethnic identities, she remained proud of her Jewish roots, incorporating them into her performances with warmth and authenticity. Molly Picon's legacy is not only her entertainment achievements but also her role in preserving and popularizing Jewish culture through performance. Lee Grant is one of Hollywood's most resilient and versatile actresses, known for her fearless performances and uncompromising integrity. Born Lyova Haskell in New York City to a Jewish family, she carried her heritage with quiet pride throughout her career. Grant's early work on stage earned her acclaim, but she faced enormous challenges in Hollywood during the McCarthy era, when she was blacklisted for refusing to cooperate with anti-communist investigations. Despite this, she returned to film and television with remarkable strength, winning an Academy Award for Shampoo and later earning multiple Emmy Awards. Her Jewish identity informed not only her personal resilience but also her empathy in portraying complex, marginalized, and morally conflicted characters. Lee Grant's career is a testament to survival, talent, and courage in an industry that often demanded compromise. She proved that artistry and integrity could coexist, leaving a lasting impact on generations of actors.